this is kind of summary of every one of those 4 steps: goal, other, tactics, and expectations. So you don't have to buy the book if you don't want to. Although I love the book because it's got phenomenal cool exercises in it that anybody I've used it in junior high, I've used it all the way up to college and graduate school, so they're great like that. On the back here are some things that I didn't go to, but I'm going to take about 5 minutes to talk about these because my clock says I have about that, all right? These are suggestions for physicality. The top of them are, so, it's like, how do all of the GOAT method is about how to get your performers, presenters' heads in the right place for performance. It's like, I've given you all the tools to build the whole psychological persona for performance, whether that's a debater, an orator, or an interpreter. Are you with me on that, right? All right, this is then, they may feel it, but are they showing it to us, all right? And most students get the, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know. Okay, so just like the GOAT, the beauty of the GOAT is I have never had it fail. I can take somebody who has no experience, and because you put it into a formula, they're not like going, oh, I don't know if I can show people that part of me. Because, you're like, well, you're not showing your vulnerability. That's what they're scared of. I once played, as Peggy told you, I played the nun, the Mother Superior, in about 3 different versions of the Nonsense series. And they make a lot of jokes about the Mother Superior being overweight. And my first director, whoever directed me in that, came and said, if you would prefer not to do those, that I understand that. He's trying to be sensitive because I was a 350-pound woman at that point, right? I'm not exaggerating. And so he was trying to be sensitive. And I looked right at him, because you got to go, that's like, hello, here I am naked, And I said, he said, I'll cut him out if you don't want to go there. I'm like, are you kidding? They're the best laughs here. No way, don't cut out any fat jokes. I love them all. But it's hard. It's hard in high school. And it's hard when you're young to be vulnerable. But when you give them the formula, they don't feel so vulnerable because they're just following the formula. You with me on that? Okay, these are the same things. It doesn't feel so awkward to do these things if I'm following a formula or I know what I'm doing at the time. So the tops are all suggestions that Robert Cohen gives us for, choose to push your partner. All the choices you should make in order to be believable. I'm not going to go over those as much as I want to go over the ones at the bottom. The ones at the bottom are the basic guideline research in nonverbal gesturing and what it means. Dwayne showed you, there's a difference between what this is and what this is and what this is and what this is. All of those. Same hand, but just the direction it's pointing making a difference. These are the 5 categories. And if you tell your student you need to get one of these in each one of those performances or in that type of thing, or these are your choices. So, I don't know what to do with my hands. Did you try an illustrator? Well, what's an illustrator? Lonnie, can you show me how do I get out of this room? That's an illustrator, okay? Can you show me how big the fish is that you caught out there? Yeah, okay. Alan, can you show me either or? You either have this choice or this choice? Okay, so illustrators are just what they sound like. They're anything that illustrate the thought that we've got going, all right? And that makes sense, and the students can come up with, can you show me you're not very happy? All those kinds of things. So those are illustrators. The next ones are emblems, and those are really good that we don't forget about all of them, but we tend to forget. And an emblem is, all I have to do is show it to you, and you know the word. Peace or 2. And you want to be careful in a foreign country to do this or this. Totally different things. Okay? Woo! Okay, good job. Or, again, don't do it in a foreign country. All right, woo! Okay, that's good. Come on. All righty. Hi. Okay, there's all those. There's offensive ones too. All right, but the thing is, they get those, and they communicate immediately to an audience, and they are a part of our culture. So people do them all the time. Sometimes they don't do the nice ones, but they do them all the time. And so if you say, could you get an illustrator in there anywhere? Or an emblem in there anywhere? They're going, yeah, I think at this point, they do this type of a thing. And okay, fine. The next one is regulators, and regulators are just what they say. We communicate with very little problems most of the time on whose turn is it to talk and that type of a thing. because we regulate it. As teachers, we know we just ask a question
and we give an answer.
and then we pause. That, you know, I had an educational specialist says that the number one mistake that teachers make is they give the answer. That you should wait, and you should be willing to wait 5 minutes before you give the answer. But simply, or what we do is we raise our voice. And so, what's your name? And the fact that it goes up. So regulators or anything that if we don't want somebody to talk and they're interrupting us, we just talk a little louder and faster so that they don't get, you know, debaters talk over each other, which shows power in a debate. You know, it's like, well, wait a minute, thank you very much, but I still have something else to say for that response. And whoever consumes the most time tends to do better in the debate. So there are those types of things. The next one is affect displays, and these are incredibly powerful because an affect display is the body naturally showing us what the emotional state of the body is. So most people just work with this. All of this is far more important. So to ask your performer, what's the posture? What does your posture say? The thing I have the hardest time doing is getting my performers to perform beyond the waist. Because their arms stop here, or they're holding a script for some events, all right? Well, this down here looks like it's on the couch. And our body never does that. Her legs were not on the couch looking for that ring. They were like, they were just as tense as the rest of her body. She squatted down, my gosh, okay? I worked with a performance artist once, and the most exciting thing I ever saw in my life is that man gestured with his leg. It was great! But is he gesturing with his leg? I think he is, all right? But it was obvious his entire body was in the performance. So ask your students, how do you get your entire body in the performance? It's not just here. What would your shoulders, where do your shoulders go when you're feeling happy or angry or offensive? Or if you're getting into a fight, what does your body do to prepare to get into a fight? Okay, if you're yelling and screaming, I see those chords in the neck. So we ask them to show that emotion from the beginning. And sometimes, and I notice that in some of the national winners, and something I love the most as a judge, a person who can play silence, oh my heavens, that you can go through 3 different emotions in 30 seconds of silence. And it's amazing. I also tell them in this that it is far more interesting to watch what a character in a performance is fighting not to reveal than it is to watch the character do what we expect. It's not engaging to watch a person cry. It's engaging to watch a person try not to cry. And think about how much harder that is when it happens to you. Oh my gosh. You're like, I do not want that tear to come out of my eye. But it doesn't matter. Here it comes, right? But it's far more intriguing. So remind them, I always say, cut your pieces to about 6 or 7 minutes so you have 3 or 4 minutes to play the silence, all right? It's far more engaging. The last one is adapters, and again, supremely powerful type of gesture. Adapters are all those horrible, horrible habits. They never, ever communicate anything positive. But that's okay, because I can use them as a character. But they're all those horrible things that we develop usually during some extremely stressful part of our life. So they are things like chewing the inside of our cheeks. They are things like clicking our tongue. They are things like chewing our fingernails. They are things like snapping or flipping or using those, what are those things called? Spinners, fidget spinners or whatever. I don't know. Okay, they're those types of things. They're twisting hair. They're twisting rings. They're clearing throats. Those things we use to self-comfort in a time of extreme stress, but then they become a part of our dialogue, our nonverbal dialogue in our body at any given time. We aren't even aware we're doing them. If you can get a character that it's believable the character would have an adapter, a twitch, a constant touching of something. I saw that the other night on America You Got Talent. The comedian developed a character that forever went like that with the glasses. What an obnoxious gesture. Okay, but wow. What does it tell you about the internal mechanism of the character? You with me? So those are absolute breakdown of what you can tell your student if they're going, how do I do with my hands? Okay? It's like, go out and find one of these. Go out and find one of these. Gives you a description. The last thing is something I use. I've not ever used it with debaters. All right, but I do use it with performers, and I call it my GOAT worksheet. And I ask them to spend a lot of time analyzing who their personas are, one or many. And then we sit down and we talk about this, but I let them give me their insight first before I say make adjustments or that type of a thing. So it has been incredibly helpful to me. I use it with professionals when I do directing and that type of a thing. And matter of fact, I just had one of my professional actors go, just contact me yesterday and said, remember that thing you made us do and I thought was really stupid at the time? I go, yes. Can I get another copy of that? So this too will be on the website. So we are really pretty good here, huh? Do you have any questions you'd like? I know I threw a ton of stuff at you. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask me before we're done? Okay, you're tired. Let's thank you so very, very much. I hope it helped.